the property management industry, fair housing offenses are considered especially troubling. In the United States, a dedicated fair housing attorney, Leslie Tucker, provides case explanations and best practices. These are some cases.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fair Housing Insiders Case Files, Episode 8, with Leslie Tucker, the principal at Williams, Edelstein, and Tucker. And I'm your host, Jonathan Sarr. Today's case, Leslie, it focuses on claims of discrimination based on religion. And here we see a private lawsuit between a developer and an entire town. So can you please share some of your thoughts on this case?
Yeah, this is an interesting case. It started when a developer purchased a piece of land, not a huge piece of land, about 3 square miles. And that developer received approval from the town board to construct several thousand residential units in multiple phases. And that developer received all the necessary approvals to go ahead and begin the first phase. Well, as things happen, that developer was not able to kind of get things going. The development stalled. So a second developer purchased the land from the first developer. And the second developer is what this case centers around. The second developer is the plaintiff in this case. And the issue is that second developer is operated by Hasidic Orthodox Jews. And when the public, found out that this piece of land was purchased by this company, and that the units on the lot may be purchased by Hasidic Orthodox Jews, there was an immediate sort of backlash. And this was seen on social media and online. But that's not the only thing that is alleged here. The major actions that were alleged here was that the town board started taking some different actions towards this new developer than what they did, with the first developer, which was they started increasing fees associated with parks. They increased tax assessments. And they, it's alleged that they imposed, numerous delays on approvals. Ultimately, the town board denied their applications for building permits, so they weren't able to start building on these lots. The developer appealed that decision, and ultimately the Zoning Board of Appeals upheld the denial, stating that they were trying to use the land differently than how the original project was approved for. And obviously, this developer, the plaintiff, is alleging violations of the Fair Housing Act related to religion. I mean, and there's other allegations as well, but as far as the fair housing allegations go, that is the basis. And this case is currently ongoing.
Okay. Very good. Thank you for the explanation. So a couple questions. So if the developer could have obtained the necessary permits, could it have restricted housing purchases to just Hasidic Orthodox Jews?
Well, no. That would have been a violation of the Fair Housing Act in and of itself, to, make purchasing decisions related to someone's religion, and restricting all other religions would be, discrimination under the Fair Housing Act. But it's not uncommon to see groups within neighborhoods where, entire neighborhoods are made up of a certain ethnicity or a certain religion, just because I think people, choose to live around other people that are like them. They flock to these neighborhoods that they know are being purchased by other people that are like them. And so that does tend to happen. It's not uncommon. But that doesn't necessarily mean that people who are not part of that group, that religion, that ethnicity, whatever it may be, they can still purchase in those areas too. And they are certainly legally permitted to and have to be permitted to. So no developer can restrict the purchase of its units of its homes to any particular group.
So another question for you, Leslie. If there were no direct actions or statements by the board about religion, could its actions still be found to be discriminatory?
Yeah, absolutely, it can. And with these types of cases and investigations, it's very unusual to find that someone has actually made a direct discriminatory statement. It does happen, but it's not usual. Typically the evidence that is available is going to be sort of circumstantial and leading to the conclusion that, yes, this probably did have something to do with religion. So, in this case, obviously the evidence that's going to be considered on behalf of the developer is like the timing of things that happened. Once it took over and purchased this land, did the town board then start making different decisions about the land than it would have with the first developer? So that's what they're going to be trying to prove, just in the sort of circumstantial nature of what happened. And who knows? This case is not over. Obviously, it's still pending. But that is the type of evidence that's going to be considered, and you don't need any sort of direct action or statement that is tied to religion.
Very nice. Thank you for the explanation. Appreciate your feedback. Really helps our property management audience out a lot to be able to get a deep dive into these cases. So thank you, Leslie. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to episode 8. Have a good one. Thank you.